Good morning, everyone, esteemed college researchers and distinguished guests. Welcome to the last day of AquaSustain 2024. My name is Kitty Pat Sapshikun, and I'm honored to serve as a master of ceremony for today's event. We have a stimulating agenda filled with insightful presentation and discussions on sustainable aquaculture practices and innovation. To begin, I would like to inform you that our oral session will commence shortly. So our first session will be moderated by a distinguished expert in this field. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Seema Medhe from Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. Dr. Medhe will guide us through an upcoming oral sessions addressing climate events and their impacts and cost of aquaculture. Dr. Medhe, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Seema Medhe, and I will be moderator for today's oral session. We have 6 oral presentations scheduled today, one each from the sessions on climate and climatic events, biodiversity, economics of natural productivity and pond aquaculture, and 3 from the sessions on risk mitigation. Each presenter will be given 10 minutes for presentation, followed by 5 minutes for question answer. I request all the presenters to finish within the allotted time, and we will notify them when 1 minute is remaining for presentation. Our first speaker is from the Climate and Climatic Event session, Mr. Amar Gaikwad from World Fish, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, India. His presentation is titled Building Resilience for Prosperity, Climate Smart Aquaculture in a Changing Climate of Odisha. Mr. Amar.
Thank you, Dr. Seema, and very well good morning to all. So hope we all are enjoying the Thailand. This one? Next. Okay, thanks. So good morning once again. So actually I'm going to talk about today on the climate resilience for prosperity, climate smart aquaculture in changing climate in Odisha. So this event is specifically related to Odisha state, which is situated in India. Odisha is the very I can say that it is coastal state where it is having 480 kilometer of coast line. Along with there is very diverse biosity is there. We have turtle sanctuary is there. We have largest brackish water lake called as Chilka Lake is there. And along with this there is a lot of inland resources is also there. So the east coast of the India is really prone to the especially cyclones, and then climate change activities are a lot of there. Even not only the cyclones, it reflects to the floods, and then increasing temperature, erratic monsoon is there. So it's always giving impact on in aquaculture also. Aquaculture, I can say, is not only aquaculture, it is also impacting on food security also. Odisha is one of the states, almost more than 50% is population tribal base, and almost 42 million, out of 42 million of population, around 43% is, most situated in rural area. And so, because of this climate change, the Odisha state is very, vulnerable for the food insecurity, as well as per the National Family Health Survey 4. The Odisha, I think age 5 children, around 34% are stunted. So the malnutrition percent is more. So it is very important to along with the aquaculture, we need to think about nutrient sensitive aquaculture approach, so that we can sustainably develop aquaculture as well as to improve the nutrition. So, if you talk about the freshwater resource, almost Odisha ranks 4th in the fish production in India. Almost 10.52 lakh metric ton production is there. And the most important thing is that the Odisha population consumes almost 94% of population consumes fish, and the per capita in consumption 17.73 kg against the national average fish consumption is 9.72 per capita. Per capita. So the main this work has been we have done under the one of the project called as Odisha Integrated Irrigation Project for Climate Resilient Agriculture, in which 3 components are there. We are working in conversion mode with the agriculture, horticulture and fishery, where in Odisha there are community water bodies are there called as a minor irrigation project, which are less than 40 hectares of water spread area. So there are around more than 600, and these MIPs are mostly wherein derelict conditions are not used in a scientific way. So we wanted to especially our objective of this project is to improve the productivity and enhance the climate resilience and intensify and diversify the agriculture, horticulture and aquaculture production. So our primary beneficiaries are mainly the small scale farmers, and we also looking for WSCG group, Pani Panchayat group, there are fishery cooperatives are there are farmer producer organizations there are, and mostly we are targeting the vulnerable groups which are situated near that MIP area as well as in ICUT area. So this work is we have working with this mainly financed by the World Bank, and we are working with the Water Resource Department, Fishery Department, and we as a World Fish, our role is we give them technical support and as well as capacity building of the farmer to in terms of our main role is to educate them about climate resilience, or we can say climate smart aquaculture technology, so that they improve the production and productivity as well as the income. So here we have our main how we are approaching the climate smart. We have mainly we have introduced around eight activities of aquaculture based on the climate smart approach. So there are, if you see here, the scientific fish farming in MIP is one of the activity where we are involving the community to for fish production. We train them how to do the scientific fish farming, how to manage the pond. So this is a community based approach in order to increase the production and productivity as well as income generation, and also to provide nearby nutrition in order to make them food security also. Another is the polyculture in tank. We have introduced polyculture in nearby MIP's area tank, where we are doing with the IMC, also freshwater prawn, and also we have included some of the small indigenous species, especially mola, and also we are providing them 2 biofloc tank, and also we have introduced the nursery rearing of freshwater prawn. Along with we are taking care of post harvest management also, where we are giving them 3-wheeler or 4-wheeler which is isolated with the ice box is there. We are also providing them dragnet. There are some of the activity, but today we are going to talk about mainly on first 3 production activity, mainly scientific, polyculture and biofloc. So our material and method, we have done the first, our aim is to see that how the present situation is there, whether they are aware of climate resilience or climate smart aquaculture approach is there, what is their present production and productivity level, what is their education level at present about the aquaculture practices, or whether they know the scientific fish farming or they are following the BMP or not. This is our main objective of this study. So what we have done, we have selected mainly project area, which is 15 districts of the Odisha. So initially we train some key informant interviews. We develop a questionnaire for them. We train them for 1 day, and that questionnaire we uploaded in Kobo tool so that it will be easy to enter the data at the field level. And once the data, we extracted data from the Kobo tools, and we have used very simple basic analysis for see the what is the observation or what impacts or present, what is the current status we wanted to see. And then later on we'll carry also midline survey and endline survey, where we'll see after our intervention what is the impact on production, productivity and the income generation level, and what is the education or knowledge level has been increased towards the climate approach. So here what we have done, we have almost 194 samples beneficiary we surveyed for this, especially for these 3 activities. And we also conducted a group FGD. We mainly this for the group farmers group like WSAG, Pani Panchayat group. We involved them for a group discussion in order to understand, some not able to give the answer during the maybe data collection. We wanted to cover that data also in the FGD. So if you talk about the result and discussion, where we found that male and female ratio, the mainly in biofloc are dominated by the male, whereas the polyculture we have around 83% and 27%, whereas in the MIP the major involvement is by the WSAG group, where the only 10%, less than 10% were male. The education level is good education level. Formal education is around 78% are educated peoples, and where if you see the status of best management practices adoption by the this all the beneficiary, we found that only 40%, where we feel that yes, we need to be educated them especially on best management practices. So if you talk about, we have done some economical analysis also, where we found that the profitability of what is the profitability level of from this 3 intervention. The production level, if you see here, production level is very low, especially in scientific fish farming. Only we found that almost 616 kg per hectare only, and even little marginal increase in the polyculture 647. Where the biofloc we found that production level is good, where we found per tank of 612.5 kg that of capacity, around 15,000 liter capacity of tank. So here we found that the price, sale price is very difference. If you see the especially polyculture, the average price is higher because here we have shrimp and as well as mola. Whereas in biofloc, mainly they sell local retail market, and then MIP normally they are wholesale. So we are finding this difference of because of this only, and this price directly impacted on the profitability level. We can see here the profitability of the polyculture is high due to as we are selling higher value fish. So next we are what is our main objection from this study? We found that, see, if you are mainly scientific fish farming, the feed cost and input cost is high because they're mainly they are not educated for to in Odisha normally they follow the very traditional fish farming practice. They don't allow they don't give the floating feeds. They wanted to go with the traditional, and also for this especially scientific fish farming, we found that there is a need of capacity building on the best management practices. If you talk about the polyculture, the feed cost and input cost is low. Here, what we feed that the feed management we need to be improved, and fertilization management need to be improved in order to reduce the cost of production. Where in the biofloc, we found that input cost is high because of mainly the electricity cost and input cost. So this is based on this observation and recommendation. We will accordingly plan for the capacity building. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you for your excellent presentation, Mr. Amar. Any questions from audience?
Hi, I'm from Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. From what I understand, you already did the capacity building in Odisha areas, right? And
No.
you are going to.
Yeah, we are going to.
You are going to do the capacity building. So actually, my questions I would like to know about. Okay, let's see about your speculations. After you do the capacity buildings, what do you think would be the reaction from the farmers, and how many percent that farmer would willing to adapt to these resilient strategies? Because in Thailand, I think it's quite challenged to, initiate them to change from traditional way to adapt these resilient strategies.
I think if you see we have 3 intervention. For polyculture and biofloc, I think to build the capacity is very easy. But for scientific MIP is very difficult because as it is a community and it is open water. So it is very, difficult and challenging to convince to the community because they have some traditional or, some emotional feeling. They don't allow some fertilizer or they think that when we feed them, it is a chemical base. So, but still, we are trying to educate it. If you talk about that, maybe we are targeting around 60% to change. That's what.
Thank you. And what are the scientific farming?
Scientific fish farm mainly you see, they don't follow the pond records or they don't do the fertilization, they don't do the proper feeding management, means they don't check what is the biomass, so they don't do sampling. So we wanted to, aware the proper scientific fish farming, in order to reduce the cost of production.
So it's like precise farming, scientific farming?
Yeah, maybe like tradition to semi-intensive, intensive fish farming.
I see. And all scientific farmings conducted by females. Very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's
Thank you.
give a round of applause to Mr. Amar. I would like to welcome our next presenter from biodiversity session is Ms. Amelia Ramadhani Anshar from Animal Biomedical Sciences Study Program, Graduate School, IPB University, Bogor, Indonesia. Her presentation is titled Microplastic Study on a New Toxicological Animal Model, Candidate of Oryzias celebensis, a bibliometric analysis. Ms. Anshar, please start your presentation.
Oh no, pointer. Oh, this one. Very good morning, everyone. My name is Amelia Ramadhani Anshar. For Indonesian people, the first name is the real name, so my name is, you can call me Amelia. I'm a second-year PhD student from School of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Science of IPB University, Indonesia. So today I would like to explain about our bibliometric study regarding microplastic study on new toxicological animal model candidate of Oryzias celebensis. As we know that plastic pollution is a global concern in aquatic environment has become a global concern with emerging study highlighting to the toxic effect. The degradation of plastic due to the increase of temperature such as UVB exposure, mechanical pressure cause the fragmentation into microparticles. Those microparticles, we call microplastic, are readily consumed by aquatic organisms, raising concern about its physiological and biological impact to the aquatic organism and especially to the human as the highest food chain. As you can see in the figure 1, we try to visualize how the microplastic will be affected to the adult Oryzias and to the embryogenesis process. Oryzias celebensis or Celebes medaka in the local name are considered potential model organism in toxicological study, especially in ecotoxicological study. This fish we try to develop as animal bioindicators of aquatic ecosystem to predict this environment is health or not, contributing to the development of sustainable practice by providing insight into the impact of plastic pollution and helping to formulate mitigation strategies. We try to collect all the publication, exclude 2024, and we try to collect by the keywords of Oryzias, toxicity, and model. And we collect about 343 papers that are related to the specific subject area such as environmental science, pharmacology, toxicology, agriculture, of course, chemistry, and medicines. That only using an English version with the document type of article and a review paper. After that, we using W and first viewer for create the graphical representation of bibliometric map. And you can see in the figure 3 the number of documents and citation on the topic of Oryzias celebensis as an ecotoxicological animal model. We see that there is a 318 paper is a peak number of publication in 2021 that will over past 10 years, particularly in the form articles has increasing. The next is a list top 10 countries that have released paper related to the Oryzias species and ecotoxicological research study. We see that United States is the most released paper country, following by China, Japan, Hong Kong, and Paris. This we try to visualize how the interconnection of the country and distribution of the global geographical and the overlay picture of the country which contribute each other on the research of Oryzias. US is the highest number of document and citation with the total link strength about 107, followed by China and Japan with total link strength about 90 and 60 respectively. This is the connection between the keywords. As you can see, there are 6 different colors, means 6 different clusters. Cluster 1 is the red color. They consist with the 5 main keywords, which is Oryzias, biomarkers, embryo, comparative study, and toxicity. The use of that Oryzias and embryo as a model organism and biomarker to assess the toxicity effect. Next is clusters number 2. Cluster number 2 main 3 main keywords like gene expression and liver mRNA. This describes disturbance in gene expression, liver, and other physiological disorder of the environment pollutant. Cluster number 3 consists with 3 main keywords are animal tissue, female and male. As you know that in toxicological tests, gender difference is matter one needs to be taken when we conducting the experiments because there are different physiological responses. Cluster number 4 consists with the unclassified drug. Cluster number 5 consists with the main keywords, namely Japanese medaka. So this is the main medaka that usually used in the world, Japanese medaka. So we try to develop the new medaka that endemic from Indonesia. This is the analysis trends of using Oryzias adult and embryo. As you can see, there are the color of the circles correspond to the keyword hotspot. Dark blue indicates the time interval to 2010, while the yellow represents the time interval around 2018. Researchers began to focus on keywords such as Oryzias around 2011, but the studies are primarily concentrate on only identifying Oryzias, such as different gender, males or females, body tissue, and gene expression. And then research involving Oryzias in ecotoxicological study began to develop around 2014, established the Oryzias as a model organism in ecotoxicological. By 2015, using Oryzias embryo starting to be explored, with the embryo showing the higher sensitivity compared to the adult fish. So as the conclusion of this bibliometric analysis, we see that indicates that using Oryzias species has increasingly been employed as a research subject in toxicity study of the water pollution. However, there has been limited prior research using the species of Oryzias celebensis. In addition to adult Oryzias celebensis, there is also a gap exploring the embryos, which are considered more effective and efficient than the adult stage. The last is highlighting the gaps and potential of Oryzias celebensis that can be explored further, particularly regarding its potential as a candidate organism in ecotoxicological study in several areas, such as use of ecological biomarkers, including physical and clinical pathological examination, to assess and evaluate their sensitivity. The last is we can see that significant gaps remain in genomic exploration related to the biomarker toxicity to predict the animal health and human health as well. So I would like to thank to the Higher Education Financing Center and Indonesia Endowment Funds for Education Program for supporting this research. This presentation was sponsored by United States Agency for International Development through the SIHUN 2024 scholarship program. Thank you, terima kasih, Kapun Ka.
Thank you, Ms. Amelia, for your wonderful presentation. Any questions?
Hi, Amelia. Good morning. I'm just wondering, how do they use this species, Oryzias celebensis, to evaluate the toxicity or presence of microplastics in the aquatic environment?
Yeah, thank you. We tried to analyze several parameters, such as in adult fish, we tried to analyze the toxicity, physiological exchange such as swimming behavior, operculum movement, and sensitivity to the feet. In embryo, we try to develop such as the development of somit or the invertebrates and the heart rates also, and we try to predict the gene expression.
I mean specifically for microplastics, because that's the title of your study. So how are they using, based on the literature reviews that you have conducted, how do they use this species to detect or maybe to determine the toxicity or effect of microplastics?
Those microplastic we formulate into their feed for adults, and if we want to analyze the embryos, those monomer of microplastic we exposure to the embryo rearing medium of embryo development. So it will affect to the embryo and also to the adult. If adult, we formulate with the feed, but the feed, so microplastic will be mixed for their feed. For the embryo, we will use the monomer of the plastic.
Thank you, Miss Amelia. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Amelia. I would like to welcome our third speaker from the Economics of Natural Productivity and Pond Aquaculture session, Mr. Samonn Mith from Sustainable Aquaculture and Community Fish Refugee Management Project, GIZ, Cambodia. His presentation is titled Small Scale Aquaculture, the Choice for Cambodia's Food Security. Mr. Samonn, please start your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samonn from Cambodia, GIZ Cambodia. And I will present, I will share with you, it's not a research or this is not a research project, and it's not, just a field-based activities and experience that I will bring and share with you. But so I think it is not difficult to understand. We don't have any different concept or complicated thing to understand. So just what we practice and then what we achieve. Yeah, and I will just cover 4 or 5 points, which is about the project description and go into result and then the conclusion. More detail will be presented by my colleague Jana in the other session later today. So please stay tuned. For me here, just to share with you only field-based result of what we are doing and how we achieve. And then we'll see whether the small scale aquaculture or the aquaculture for poor household, whether this is contribute to the livelihood and also about the food security in Cambodia or not. And we are part of the BMZ Special Initiative, which is about the food transformation, agri-food transformation, and our project in Cambodia, we implement only in one province, which is in Kampong Thom, is the central part of Cambodia. And our objective is that we want to have poor farmer to get more, access to more fish, and so to get more protein, and also people in the fish value chain, in the aquaculture value chain, will also generate more income, and also we want to see that whether the small scale aquaculture is the livelihood, another livelihood of choice for poor household or not. Yeah. And as you can see that, like I said, I am not going into detail about this, but just want to tell you our project here cover 2 main activity. One is aquaculture, and the one is rice field fishery management. Rice field fishery management is a kind of a community fish reef management that within the rice field domain. And for aquaculture here, we work with two different farmers. One is we call the existing, and the other one is called new farmer. I focus here more about new farmer. When we say new here, is we refer to people who don't have experience on aquaculture before. Just clean, and then we will show you how we help them to learn and apply technology. Yeah. So I just focus only this one, the 250 households. And so what is our approach here? We start with the farmer selection. Farmer selection here, we have our team, field team, where first they will go into, will talk or communicate with local authority, especially village leader and also commune council to identify potential site, and then also looking for potential farmers. And then we went through several meetings. This is just to ensure that farmers really understand what is aquaculture and how it's easy, how difficult, and what they will do if they want to work on aquaculture. It's a kind of managing their expectation as well. We don't want them to feel at the beginning that, oh, this is very exciting, we will join a project, and after 2 months they will drop. We don't want to see that. So we held at least 3 meetings per community to first kind of make them understand what is the expectation, and then also assess their own asset, their livelihood, and whether they have enough capacity, they have enough manpower, they have enough resource to manage or to manage their pond or not. And at the end, we select them as they can make the decision, like not just want to get into, but they have information, and then they can make an informed decision whether they will join or not. Yeah. And then when we select them, when they already register with our project, we start providing training. The training training for this, we call it small scale aquaculture, and we divide into 8 modules. The first one is about the planning, farm planning. This is not technical, aquaculture technical, but about planning, about looking at the capacity again and what it will do, and how, like if they have 100 square meter of pond, how many fish, how many fingerling they can stock, all things like that. And then we'll go into the detail, and the last session, the last module is about the economic analysis, is to let them understand, or they will see themselves after they finish one cycle, how much they earn, how many kg of fish they harvest, all things like that. And the training here is, we are not just doing training at one time. We do session by session after one module, and people go back home, and then they start the activity, they apply technology, and then we go into the last stage, which is about coaching and follow up. This one is quite important because, as I told you from the beginning, that these people don't know about aquaculture technology before. So like most farmers in Cambodia, they have limited knowledge or capacity of reading, writing, and all things like that. So it's difficult for them to quickly learning new technology and can apply. So after we train them, we have field staff will kind of visiting them every month or things like that, to ensure or to check whether they can apply technology or whether they apply the technology correctly or not. And also we help them in recording as well, recording daily activities or about how much the expenditure, so that at the end they will add them up together and we'll see whether this is successful or this is they can make any profit, they can earn anything or not, or make loss. Yeah. So the coaching and follow-up is quite important, and our team use a mobile application for for this one that like today, if I visit one household and then we'll check about what they apply and then what's issue, and then we record that in the in the Kobo, and then next month when we go back again, we just review with them that last month this is the issues that you have met, and whether you have apply or you have follow our recommendation or not, and then what's the any new issue, any new problem or not, and we just talk or discuss with farmer and what to do and what's the best thing they can do. And also like when we providing recommendation or action that they will have to follow or they have to take into action during the next period, we also like have quite a sheet of a paper, and we write, this is a kind of similar as a whiteboard, but it's not real board, and we just write keyword very short on that, and then the farmer will ask farmer to stick or paste it on somewhere that they can see, because they tend to forget as well. If we just say next week you will do this, and farmer are not they are not just focusing on this one activity, so they tend to forget as well. That's why we ask them to paste in somewhere that's very easy, and they can see every time they go to the pond or they come back from pond, so they can remember what they will do. Yeah. And then and we go into the result. Result here is that this is in 1 pound, it's average 108 square meter. The production is 224 and 224 kg, and then they had 150 kilogram is for sale, and then the 74 kg for consumption. This is for one cycle, and the stocking is the 4 fingerling or 5 fingerling per square meter. And so, because our project also supporting some inputs, in this case, like if farmer do this or invest this by themselves, at least they at the end of the cycle or 1 year or 10 months period, they will earn like $56, and then 184 is a kind of if we convert the amount of fish that they consume into dollar is 184. Yeah. Okay. And so before the project finished, we also looking at sustainability, and for this one, we have organized our farmer in 2 groups, and using the mobile application for sharing information, and also for a kind of a sharing technology and market information. And also we converted 3 farmers into a nursery, so that they can become a nursery farmer, and they nurse fingerling for quality fingerling for the farmer. And now people are still working and using Telegram for communication and exchange information. And we have success story, like we have one farmer here. He's also a new farmer, and his pond is 110 square meter, and he started with us from empty-handed, and it's quite successful, and he is happy with the result. And he said that he will try to collect money and dredge one more pond so that he can produce more fish for his household and also for selling. And also this is another farmer as well that is quite successful. He got training from us, and then he's at the end of the day, he's happy with the result of what he have learned and what he applied. Yeah. And so our lessons learned is that the farmer selection is very important in providing clear information so that people can make informed decisions before they join the project. And then also we supporting them in the farm planning is really important as well, so that they know from the beginning how much they will spend, how much what they will invest, so that they can get into the achievement or successful. Yeah. And also the follow-up here, because we use a mobile application, we have record from what happened in the previous month, and then the next month we'll check again and go follow up. So the information is just follow all the way through and not losing information and easy to talk to farmer. Yeah, and so the mobile application that we're using is quite important, and we think this is really one of the success case for our project in Cambodia. Yeah. And so a conclusion is that we feel, from what we have achieved, we feel that the small-scale aquaculture is a good choice for smallholder farmer who can take as another or the livelihood of choice for contributing to food security. And as you can see from the last the bottom line is the achievement of our project is 125,000 kg of fish per year. This is including the existing farmers. Thank you. That's all for my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Samonn. Do the audience have any question?
Hello. Yeah, thank you for the nice presentation. Continuing from the discussion yesterday, so you talked that there was one slide wherein the farmer was saying that I didn't know anything about fish farming, and through this project we have learned that. Now, one of the questions that we struggle with is what is the time taken to acquire the skill, knowledge, attitude to become a fish farmer if that person is doing something else, and to what extent all these technologies and minute details that we are discussing will get integrated into their practices. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the question. The training, we are not doing training straight all the 8 modules. Like in one module, we provide training like for 2 or 3 hours, just to explain them and then let them practice a little bit. So that's why I said coaching is really important. If you just train, I don't think that they can do it. Training just a kind of letting them sense of the technology, and then when we go to practice, we have to follow up every month. So in one cycle, which is about 1 year, people are still not really skillful on that. But of course, we keep providing a kind of extended service. And I cannot say how long, but if you have at least a 5-year project, this is could be a good time indication that people will become like experienced farmers, because at least they have finished, they will finish 2 or 3 fish raising cycle with the project, where we have our team providing extension or coaching service. I think that they will become a really skillful farmer, and they will feel confident in doing by themselves after or beyond our projects. And in Cambodia, the problem is also there's no missing of extended service. Our government they have limited resources, and also limited by human resources and financial resources, so they cannot provide that kind of coaching after our project's ending. This is really challenging for Cambodia. But I think if we have the ongoing, or we have the service, extended service available, this is really important and in helping or in ensuring that these farmers are skillful in aquaculture. Yeah. Hope I answer your question.
Very good field work. I'm interested to know which all species are being cultured in Cambodia, and which species, according to you, is the most economically rewarding.
As I said, my colleague Jana will provide this information in the afternoon session. I don't want to get into his session. So you will hear from him this afternoon what species are we doing, and what the high value or the high value species that in Cambodia. He's also covered this afternoon session. So stay tuned. I don't want to mention that. He will. he will. I can assure you, my colleague, he will cover this afternoon. I don't want to violate his right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Samonn. I would like to welcome our new speaker from Risk and Mitigation Session, Mr. Sangharsh Tayade from College of Agriculture, Dr. Balasaheb Chavan, Konkan Agriculture University, Dapoli, Maharashtra, India. His presentation is titled Gracilaria Species as a Bioremediator for Intensive Pond Waste, a mini review.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Sangharsh Tayade and I am an agricultural student from India. I have just completed my graduation and I have successfully secured my admission. What happened? So, successfully secured my admission in Chulalongkorn University as well with the scholarship, non-ASEAN scholarship as well. So my topic of my mini review is Gracilaria, species as bioremediator of intensive pond waste. Yeah, so basically who knows what is Gracilaria species? Some of may know and some of may not. It is a seaweed species which is basically red in color and used in ponds as well as marine ecosystems to remove excess nutrients like nitrogen as in the form of nitrates and ammoniums and phosphorus as nitrates, phosphates. And they have high nutrient uptake efficiency. They can be used in experiments that can be conducted in few square meters to 100 square meters. It can be thrive in temperature from 15 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. The size may vary from few centimeters to several meters as well. One of these species in Gracilaria is used as a Japanese cuisine. It is known as ogonori. For material methods, we have researched some articles from sources like Google Scholar, Science Direct, and PubMed. The keyword selection was Gracilaria, bioremediation, toxic nutrients, nutrient levels, aquatic pollution, environmental cleanup, and pond waste. The literature sources were peer-reviewed articles and review papers. Inclusion criteria was focused on the remediation potential of the Gracilaria species, and the emphasis was kept on pollutant removal from aquatic environment. The data extraction helps to find out the type of pollutant removed and their quantity. We will see in the next slide. Analysis and review overall efficiency of the Gracilaria species and its future aspects. So the diagram shows the schematic presentation illustrating the process of nutrient uptake by the Gracilaria species. Basically, in aquaculture pond, fish feed is introduced to support growth and health, but sometimes not all feed is consumed by the fish. So the extra feed that it remains accumulated in the pond, which it is uneaten by the fishes, which creates the organic matters inside the pond, which results in the decomposition of organic matter as well. So it leads to the release of toxic nutrients including ammonia, phosphate, which are the byproducts protein which are created by the breakdown. This ammonia can be toxic to fish if allowed to accumulate. So some nitrifying bacteria which are already present in the pond helps to convert this first converted into the ammonia is converted into nitrate, then by using some ammonium oxidizing bacteria like Nitrosomonas, and then the nitrites are converted into nitrates with the help of nitrate oxidizing bacteria like nitrobacter. So this biological process is known as nitrification and helps to reduce the toxicity of ammonia in the fish pond. Additionally, phosphates are also crucial nutrients for aquatic plants, and if they are excess in their quantity, then it can also lead to an eutrophication, promoting legal blooms that deplete the oxygen in the water. To counteract this situation, these effects, aquatic plants such as Gracilaria species, it is a type of microalgae, as mentioned before, absorb the nitrogen in the form of nitrate and phosphate from water by utilizing these nutrients. And also it helps to clean aquatic systems, improving water quality and supporting the overall health of the pond and marine environment. These are the species which we have studied in the research papers, and the next to it is mentioned the stock density of seaweeds and the duration of experiments, and the outcomes which are mentioned in percentage, the ammonia, nitrites and phosphates. These are the nutrient uptake level of the related species which are mentioned in the first column and the references. So conclusion and recommendations are like they are essential in aquaculture for improving water quality by removing excess nutrients. Using Gracilaria in fish and shrimp farming help recycle nutrients, promoting sustainable farming practices. As they absorb excess nutrients, this reduces the risk of eutrophication, and preventing the proliferation of harmful algal blooms that can disrupt aquatic ecosystems, and it helps to leverage Gracilaria species for carbon sequestration to help mitigate climate change impacts as well, thus reducing associated risk to marine and coastal ecosystems. Here are the references, and for acknowledgement, I would like to thank my mentors, Professor Chavan sir present here, and Dr. Manoj, Dr. Seema Medhe, and my friends. That's all by my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangharsh, for your wonderful presentation. I'm sorry to say, but we will allow only one question due to time limits. Our presenters will be here, so you can discuss with them during break times. So one question is welcome. Anyone is having question?
Could you explain, was it a systematic review of the literature that you did, or where did you come up with the results of the importance? How did you come up with the results of the importance of Gracilaria?
So it was a type of mini review that I have made, picking up a species that can help to reduce the excess nutrients that can pollute the pond aquaculture.
Thank you, Sangharsh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes. Our next speaker is from risk mitigation session is Mr. Siravich Siri from Department of Veterinary Medicine, Faculty of Veterinary Science, Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, Thailand. His presentation is titled Plastics and Aquaculture, an Overlooked Risk for Sustainable Aquaculture in Thailand. Mr. Siravich, please begin your presentation.
Okay. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Siravit Siri, and I'm from Veterinary Medical Aquatic Animal Research Center of Excellence, Chulalongkorn University. So today I would like to talk about the plastics and aquaculture and overlooked risk for sustainable aquaculture in Thailand. Okay, so first of all, everyone would know about the plastic problems. Many would have seen the news that marine animals like whales, dolphins, and sea turtle has ingested plastics. But how would you know what's the effects of plastic to aquaculture? So plastic debris and microplastic have been threatening the environment and aquatic animal health worldwide for many decades. And Thailand is one of the world's hotspots for plastic waste production. So in many years, it was average of 365 kilogram of plastic waste production per capita in Thailand. And these plastics are already ubiquitous in the Thai environment, including in the water sources. So the environmental plastic debris and as well as microplastic or the very small plastic pieces can enter the aquaculture system through many ways. For example, through the water influx, from the coarse filtration system, because most microplastic are small enough to slip through many of the filtration system used in the aquaculture. And in addition, microplastic can even come from the tap water in many sources. And plastic can also enter the aquaculture system from the household plastic use or the plastic that used in the aquaculture system themselves. And when plastic enter into the aquaculture system, they can also emerge from aquaculture system and go out to the environment or can go to the other aquaculture system too. So now there are limited studies on the potential effects or the actual effects of the plastics on aquaculture system, and the aquaculture-derived plastic debris can also migrate from one aquaculture area to another. This has been overlooked too. So the objective of this study is to review the potential effects of plastic debris on aquaculture system for a better understanding of the potential effects on aquaculture and with the goal of a better understanding of biosecurity implication and to sustainably mitigate the plastic risk on aquaculture system. So in this study, we did an integrative review of the literature related to plastics, microplastic, and aquaculture that are available in ISI, PubMed, and Scopus databases to critically analyze all possible effects of plastic on aquaculture species and aquaculture system. Articles in other fields that were linked to the review topics were also retrieved. So first of all, I would like to talk about the data we get is about the physical effects of the plastic. Okay, the physical effect of plastic can be obviously known. For example, if the fish or the animal has ingested the plastic, it can cause the GI obstruction, can cause GI inflammation or malnutrition because of foul satiation. Plastic that get into the stomach can cause the foul satiation and make the fish cannot eat the food properly. And the thready plastic or net-like plastic can cause the trapping or entanglement, which can cause suffocation or death in many animals. This picture showed microplastic data. This picture showed the microplastic that are trapped inside the intestinal mucosa of a fish. So another effects of microplastic to animal is the chemical effects. So because plastic are hydrocarbon compounds, the plastic itself can contain plastic polymer, can contain plastic additives and many chemicals inside it. So this chemical can directly have some effects on animal, either the physiology, altering the behavior, reproductive system, or can alter the immune system. Some plastic additives, for example, bisphenol A, which of you may heard of, is a carcinogen, and some of the aromatic polymer of plastics, for example, in this picture, the polystyrene and polycarbonate with their benzene rings, it can have the endocrine disrupting effects by altering the function of the endocrine hormone that also has the benzene ring. So from the review, the chemical toxicity of plastic on many animal species have been substantially described. I give some example. For example, they can cause increasing in oxidative stress and response and altering gene expressions in Pacific white shrimp, and it can cause significant histopathological change in blue mussel. And apart from the direct chemical effects, plastic can also have the indirect effects. So it can be the carrier of pollutants to aquaculture animals. Because the plastic is very hydrophobic, so it can absorb many of the chemicals that are in the water. So the chemicals in the water can absorb into plastic more efficiently than staying in the water. So these chemicals are, for example, the persistent organic pollutant like PCB, PAH, or organophosphate, and maybe some antibiotics too. So there were many studies indicating that ingestion of plastic with this chemical can amplify the effects of this chemical more than the chemical itself in the environment. And apart from the indirect effect and of the chemical, plastic can also have the microbiological effects. So it can be the carrier of pathogens and antimicrobial resistant genes on biofilms that produce on plastics. This is because the plastic that are submerged underwater for a long time, they can be a suitable place for microbial colonization and biofilm formations. This word, or the community of biofilms on plastic, they are called plastic spheres. This plastic sphere can contain vast range of microorganisms, including just normal bacteria, or maybe it can be including of pathogenic bacteria, or the bacteria that contain the antimicrobial resistant genes. This bacteria on biofilm on plastic is highly resistant to adverse conditions due to their biofilm structure. So the biofilms on plastic can offer protection for the bacteria from environmental stress and can promote horizontal gene transfer due to their structure and extracellular polymeric substance. So it can increase the rate of the gene exchange or beneficial traits exchange between bacteria. The biofilm can be the barrier to antibiotic diffusions. So it can hindering the antimicrobial function and can promote reinfection to bacteria. And the decreasing of antibiotic diffusions can also lead to development of antimicrobial resistant genes in those survived bacteria. So the plastic sphere has been proven to carry and actively express antimicrobial resistant genes. There was some research that environmental plastic sphere can carry numerous of antimicrobial resistant genes, which can intensify along the time and along the waterway. So they found that the major host of antimicrobial resistant gene on the plastic sphere is the bacteria in the group of Enterobacteriaceae. And plasmic associated antimicrobial resistant genes were also actively expressed in plastic sphere more than in the water. So all of these studies suggested that microplastic have a high potential to carry and disseminate potentially pathogenic bacteria and antimicrobial resistant genes to the surrounding environment, including to our aquaculture system. So there are other field functions that can promote the survival of bacteria in plastic sphere with for example, the direct nutrient exchange, because in the biofilm there are some of the bacteria that are photosynthetic, and this photosynthetic bacteria can provide nutrients to other bacteria, for example, the pathogenic bacteria and antimicrobial resistant bacteria that we talk. So several reports have described the pathogen that found on plastic sphere. For example, in this list, for example, many Vibrios, Aromanites, Streptococcus, and many others. So all of these bacteria can be a great threat to the aquaculture industry, and many were found in higher concentration in plastic sphere than in the sludge or in the environment. And some microbial activity on plastic is more diverse and more complex than in the surrounding water. So yes, it had high potential to spread pathogenic bacteria to the surrounding environment. So this is our unpublished experiment, suggests that two important aquaculture pathogens, the Aeromonas veronii and Vibrio parahemolyticus, can form a strong biofilms on plastic pieces compared to this is the sterile plastics within 7 days after submerge. So the plastic sphere in the aquaculture system can, when the environmental condition flavors, for example, when plastic from outside come into aquaculture system, when the environmental conditions in the aquaculture system favor this bacteria, for example, there are high nutrients inside, the bacteria on biofilm can overgrowth, and then it can leave the biofilms and go into the ponds, and that can further cause disease or damage inside the pond. And if the bacteria is, if the plastic or microplastic has been ingested by the animals, it can also cause the physical or chemical effect that I have been previously mentioned, or it can also microbiologically affect the animals by disturbing the gut microbiome, something like that. So very limited studies on the effects of plastic on aquaculture animal health have been described. And biosecurity implication often overlook the importance of plastic debris. So the awareness of plastic problem and their effects on aquaculture species can benefit the aquatic animals' health management. So this is not only benefit the aquaculture animals' health, but also humans and environmental health from one health perspective. So I would like to thank the Thailand Science Research and Innovation, Chulalongkorn University, and Department of Veterinary Medicines, VMARS, and ARI. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Siravich Sri for your wonderful presentation. Any question?
Thank you for the presentation. I'm not a technical expert in this topic, but I think it's quite crucial for the future. So my question is, when I listened to your presentation, at the beginning you started with negative effects. In the middle part, I had the impression you are lobbying for putting more specific plastic into the water because it's building biofilms, the positives effect and then the negative one. Can you explain that a little bit? I struggled with the middle part, that it could be positive to have it in the water, or is this a misunderstanding?
No, it's not actually. Actually, on biofilms on plastic, you mean from the biofilms, right? Mm-hmm. It's not always positive because it can carry many of the pathogenic bacteria and antimicrobial resistant genes. It is true that the biofilms on plastic can also have the good bacteria as well. For example, the bacteria that take place in the nitrogen cycle, something like that. Yeah, but also they can also carry the bad bacteria. And because plastic is persistent, it can float a long way, not like the leaf or wooden debris that can take some time to go. But plastic can go a long way, and biofilm is very persistent. So this is the risk that I would like to mention here, because it can carry the pathogenic bacteria and antimicrobial resistant gene for a long time to other places, to other aquaculture system.
And the second one, you mentioned that in Thailand it is quite a challenging topic, plastic in the water. Yes. Do you see that your research can influence the debate on that, and is there a platform for you to present results in order to move the debate forward so that at a certain moment in time there will be a plastic-free Thailand, maybe?
Sorry, what you mean again? The platform for me to?
I don't know, conferences or any kind of access to decision makers in Thailand who will influence the future legislation on that, right?
Yeah, it is quite challenging because this is quite the new topics, and many people and many like the policymakers may be not aware of this much. And it's true that actually now somebody may say that the plastic in the environment may be not that much now, but I would say that the plastic and microplastic here today is for microplastic here today is the result of the plastic used from maybe 5 decades ago or 6 decades ago. So what would it be in the future in next 10 decades that the plastic will be much more higher, and I think this effect should much be concerned. So it would be great if I can have any platforms or some sources to raise awareness on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sri Siri. I would like to...
Thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you very much.
Fascinating and really drew out these different issues, the direct, the indirect, the POPs, the ARG, the pathogen transfer risk. Has there been, I'm just thinking about, the kind of effect size. Is there any work, you've highlighted these problems, these risks very eloquently. Did you pick anything up where people have actually tried to sort of quantify the risk?
Yes, but they have some experiment to quantify the risk of the plastic to the animals, like about the indirect effect, about the chemical effects, the physical effects. But about the microbiological effects, there are still very limited studies and not much people did quantification research on the actual effects this on plastic, especially on the aquaculture system and in the big picture of aquaculture system. Yeah.
Along with the microplastics, there are some fish harvesting nets or remains in the water bodies during the ghost fishing. So that fish harvesting nets, which can be harbor for grow the harmful bacteria, which can affect the aquatic pollution against in the water.
Sorry, so you mean on the fishing nets or something
yes.
like that? Yes, that also can have the biofilms or can have the effects. But actually, it maybe not affect to the other place because it cannot float and cannot transfer this through the distance. Yeah.
Yes. A remark I'd like to make too. Thank you for your mentioning the biofilms.
Thank you.
We had a study done at Auburn on biofilms in our fish tanks, and they found out that the Flexibacter that is responsible for columnaris disease really likes PVC, and it favors PVC. And so when we were washing down our tanks, our fiberglass tanks, we started really paying attention to the PVC standpipes in them. As well, these fiberglass tanks and other plastic tanks, if they build up a biofilm, you cannot treat even with like formalin or permanganate and reach any of the pathogens inside the biofilm. So it's important for aquaculture producers too to understand the plastics that they use have some effects as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sri Siri, for your wonderful presentation and answers. Our next presenter is from Risk Mitigation Session, Mr. Nirmalya Mandal from Ecosiat Consultant Private Limited, Noida, Uttar Pradesh, India. His presentation title is Building Resilience in Small-Scale Aquaculture, Entrepreneurial Approaches to Value Chain Optimization. Mr. Nirmalya, please, you can start your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Seema. Very good morning to everybody. So my presentation again talks about a program, particularly program and some insights about that. That is something which I would like to discuss about with you all. And so we all know this fact, the entire risk area for smallholder freshwater aquaculture farmers. But what we were trying to understand here is that in order to mitigate risk across the value chain, our interventions, our support mechanism need to go beyond the farmer as well. And when we say beyond the farmer, it actually involves aquaculture entrepreneurs who are strewn across the entire value chain, right? So I'll come to that. And this is a specific example from our experience in Odisha, where in a specific program, we supported aquaculture entrepreneurs to particularly, prepare their own business plans, link with different financial institutions, and enhance the scope of their respective enterprises and businesses. And we found that there was a direct relationship with the risks that these entrepreneurs were catering to of the small farmers, right? So Amar in the morning gave a very fantastic view about Odisha, which is the state, the province in India. And so it currently is estimated to produce around 1 million tons of fish per year with a very, very steady growth rate. And almost 60% of that production actually comes from freshwater sources. And what we also found was it actually supports a huge population of people. And they're almost the double number, almost 28 million people are associated along the value chain once we go from the farmer to the producer. But of course, as far Amar also had mentioned about the issues that a typical state like Odisha in India face, the same old problems we have been discussing for almost 2-3 decades now. They don't have cost-effective, timely extension services. They don't have access to good inputs. If you ask any smallholder farmer, the greatest problems that they face, the first thing they would say is that we don't get access to good seed, right? We don't know that whatever seed we are putting in our tanks, will it give good results or not in the coming season? So all those risks remain, and of course there are those very ugly market risks that always prevail. So insufficient infrastructure, technical knowledge, they are all there, right? I'm not going to repeat them, but of course, and there are a lot of studies which have talked about the smallholder freshwater aquaculture risks. But what I would like to highlight here is that who are the persons, who are those specific value chain actors who actually service our smallholder farmers. They are nobody but these aquaculture entrepreneurs. And when we talk about aquaculture entrepreneurs, this is just a basic list. This is not at all an exhaustive list. If you look straight away from the physical infrastructure, I'll just give you an example. For example, we need a mechanical JCB, what we call is an excavator, right, to dig out ponds. So that machine operator plays a very important role in digging out ponds. For example, when the fish, if you even leave aside the different hatcheries, there are so many entrepreneurs who supply hatcheries with hormones, who supply hatcheries with critical inputs, right? So if we just map them, what we have found from our value chain analysis in Odisha, there are more than 60, 70, 80 different types of enterprises who are providing very critical services across the value chain. So I prefer to call them as solution providers, and they are the ones on field, right? And when you typically look at their issues, that what these solution providers face, the challenges that they face, the major problem is their scale of business. They are unable to access finance, the biggest one. They're unable to access support services. They don't know how to enhance their businesses. They don't even know their respective markets, right? And all those issues that small entrepreneurs face. So right from business development to limited access to resources, market access, and legal and regulatory norms. They also are not aware of these critical areas. So this support basically was, as I said, that this program, thanks to GIZ's SAFAL program and the implementing agency Gramuthan in Odisha, we as Ecotiate, we actually got engaged in identifying such almost 1,000 of these entrepreneurs across 5 districts of Odisha, and then taking them through a process where they prepare their own business plans, they pitch their business plans to different financial service providers, get a loan, and get some hand-holding also in the later years. And so we actually identified, oriented, trained, and handheld these entrepreneurs, and that itself is the model that we would like to share with you. So it all starts with basically the 4 stages where there's an identification phase, there is a pre-boot camp phase, a workshop and boot camp phase, and then the pitching thing. Now, for everybody here, what's a boot camp, right? So it's a military term actually, which got translated into this typical startup ecosystem. So earlier, the military used to have very specific output-oriented focus. That's the definition which Oxford University gives about boot camp. So of course, we took the next one. It's basically not a prison, but it's a short, intensive, and rigorous course with a very, very specific output in mind. And in this case, the output was what if I am an entrepreneur, I would like to know what is my business model, what is my business plan, and how to prepare my own business plan, right? Now, there's a marked difference here. We were not preparing business plans for these entrepreneurs. They were making it themselves. We were trying to help them, to give them the resources to prepare their own business plans. That particularly is important because in order to grow later on, they would require these skills, particularly. So this is the basic framework that we have. We all know, we have been discussing this. Now, in the middle, there are these entrepreneurs. On the left side, you have the farmers, right? And on the right side, you have a range of different kinds of people who are also playing a very important role in the aquaculture domain. So they are banks, the government departments, technical aquaculture agencies, enterprise support agencies. But what we found was these entrepreneurs form the main link between the farmers and these large agencies, right? And there was a problem in the value chain. It's basically quite fragmented. If you look at the services that the aquaculture entrepreneur provides, there is a lot of input, services, and markets which go back to the farmers. And if this entrepreneur wants to access the larger agencies, they have to have a business model, they have to have bankable business plans, and presentation of these plans at the right place. So I'm not going to really get much into the process, but let me quickly take you that the activities and the specific outputs of each of those 4 phases basically was identification through different canopies, different camps across areas. And so we first found a primary list of around 1,000 odd entrepreneurs. The next was a basic orientation about what aquaculture is, where they fit in, what are the business opportunities, a basic understanding of the markets in these pre-boot camps. The third was workshops with different financial institutions, with investors, with the government departments as well, bringing them together, sharing the idea, and then inviting them that why don't you please come down for a pitching program where our enterprises will pitch in to you. And the final is the pitching events and then the follow-up. So basically what we primarily understood, let me share the insights, is that particularly in areas of quality seed, affordable and quality feed and assured markets, these were the 3 major areas where we found significant improvement at the level of the farmer. Now, I don't have specific numbers to show you because this wasn't really a research case, but this was very, very evident from whatever we could understand from field. And this was also quite an inclusive approach because we tried to promote women and representatives from the ST and SC. ST and SC terms are like scheduled tribes and scheduled castes, which are a major part of the backward communities of Orissa, almost to the tune of 40% of the Orissa's population. So we tried to promote more women and people from backward classes who can come along in these and participate in these programs. We tried to simplify the process. Business plan is quite a competitive problem. So we tried to simplify this. And we made very simple formats in vernacular so that everybody could understand. The post boot camp hand-holding becomes a very, very important part. And finally, this also gives a very good opportunity for these financial institutions for developing their products on finance and insurance as well. And it's a perfect case for private and public participation. So thank you. We of course acknowledge GIZ's role and Gramuthan's role here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mandal.
Hello. Yeah, thanks. Across the world, entrepreneurship projects which are run by whether government, NGOs, or any private company or whatever, survival rate is around 7% to 10% over 3 years, if we say that. That's survival growth. I'm not even going into that. That's the data which we have from all over across the world, research, blah, blah. My question is, you talked about 1,000, and then you talked about 100 business plan, actually, which were presented. And of course, that 1,000 is also coming from, I would say, around 50,000 people. So what is that key one thing, and how much success rate do you think that 100 at the end who actually managed it would, success rate? I mean, I've talked about 7 to 10%. What do you think? And what is that one key thing, or it cannot be one key thing, but what makes them like that needle out of a big hay?
Okay. So Pratap, first thing is that this process needs to be repeated even in the same geography. That is one of our key findings, because it's not just a one-time process. There would be people coming in, they should go through this training. So eventually what would happen is, even if you take a 5% success rate, at some point of time, 2-3 times down the road, I am 100% sure that 5% would increase to 7% in the next one, 10% in the next one. Because then people get tuned, and the best part is the service providers from the banks and investors likewise, they also get tuned. So it becomes easier for them to understand. Because the first one is always difficult to crack. The second thing is, how do we define success, right? So on one end, from these business plan, we could see that these entrepreneurs at least had a better idea of what they're doing, how to grow their business. Even if they're unable to link with banks or different, it might not be a problem from the entrepreneur end. It might be a problem for the other end as well. But the purpose was that at least know your business well, know where you stand, know what are the services that you are providing and what you need. So I think there, our success rate was significantly high.
So I want to thank you for highlighting the importance of the support services that go with aquaculture. And I think it's particularly important for small farmers that aren't vertically integrated. So they really rely on these services. And I think maybe in the afternoon when we're talking about growth of small farmers, this really needs to be highlighted as how, when governments want to support aquaculture, but they only look at the producers and they forget about these secondary or support services, you can't grow unless you're vertically integrated if you're gonna support aquaculture in small farmers. So I think we should discuss that this afternoon. How do you move them together? Because a lot of times the governments don't think of all these little services that need to grow at the same time.
Exactly. Thank you so
much. It's a very good field work, very interesting. It's very good that you work with that scheduled castes and tribes, who are otherwise here. What all constraints you encountered while dealing with them, making them from a subsistence farmers to an entrepreneur?
Sir, practically there's no ready-made. The biggest thing is we cannot assume that these entrepreneurs are a homogeneous lot. I think they are all a very, very heterogeneous lot, which every person requires a different kind of attention, different kind of support system. So that was one of the biggest challenges. Taking all of them together in one program was definitely one of the hardest things. The second thing is, of course, everybody have their different stages of learning, right? So we can't really push everybody to become fast learners. So that's why having a very, very unified approach for everybody, that's, I think, is the biggest challenge here.
Thank you. Sorry for interruption, but you can discuss during break times. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mandal. Thank you, everyone, for your attention and participation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seema. So following the sessions, we will have a coffee break and a demonstration featuring a presentation on food production from a small-scale fish production by Dr. Pramila Bodolo from India. And this will be an excellent opportunity to learn about innovative food products in our industry. And please be back in this room at 10:55 a.m. so that we can begin our technical session 5. Thank you.